She calls today her Alive Day. Today's date, November 12th, has a special meaning for Senator Tammy Duckworth. She says it is, quote, the anniversary of the day I almost died but didn't.
I remember the whole act of landing the aircraft because for me at the time, that was the most important thing to me. It was as if my life depended on it, which it did. But I just remember that thinking we've been hit. I didn't know that I was badly hurt. I had no idea. And I just remember thinking, you have to land this aircraft. We have to get this thing on the ground.
Joining us now, Democratic Senator Tammy Duckworth of Illinois. She's a former Army Lieutenant Colonel and is now a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee. Senator, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Talk about what it means to have an Alive Day.
Well, it's a tradition that Vietnam veterans taught to my generation, and that is a tradition of giving thanks for the day that you survive, whatever your injury was. I could spend today sitting in a dark room feeling sorry for myself because I lost my legs and that attack ended my military career. But I choose to use the day to celebrate the men who saved me. Chief Warrant Officer Dan Milberg, who landed that crippled aircraft, my crew who carried me to safety, who fought as hard as they could to get me to the help that I needed to survive, and the fact that all of us made it out of there. So today for me is a gift. It's a day of celebration and of thanks, and it's also a North Star in my life, Lawrence. It's no matter what I do every single day, I never want to let down my guys who saved my life.
Which do you celebrate more, your birthday or your Alive Day?
My Alive Day. My Alive Day is probably the most important day in my life, with the exception of my two daughters being born. Mm-hmm. I will tell you, though, it's also the only day of the year that these guys let me thank them for saving my life. But then they make me buy beers all day long.
Yeah, I'm sure. Senator, as a member of the Armed Services Committee, I know you're watching the Defense Department closely. You've watched the president fire the Secretary of Defense and install people for what will be approximately 70 days to do, we're not sure what.
Yeah, well, what it's doing is destabilizing our nation's national security. He may be pursuing his own agenda, but that's precisely it. He is putting his own personal vendettas, his own personal fragile ego ahead of the well-being and the security of our nation. Lawrence, we lost 5 uniformed personnel today in a helicopter crash in Egypt. Do you know what the president tweeted this morning when that news came out? He tweeted about the Masters, about Jack Nicklaus kicking off the Masters golf tournament. That's what our president tweeted this morning, instead of talking about the courageous men who lost their lives in Egypt today. And frankly, our adversaries are waiting for moments when we are distracted, when there is a vacuum in leadership, especially in the military, to attack. And they consistently test our president in the first months of office. And what Trump is doing is just making it that much, create that much more chaos over in the Defense Department.
And the president is also trying to make the transition as difficult as possible, have as many obstacles as possible. You are on everyone's list as a possible Biden defense secretary. If you were to go into the Defense Department in the Biden administration, you might have, in effect, some sabotage to deal with, some real messes to clean up on the arrival of a new administration in that Defense Department. Do you think that you would be able to do that?
Well, I think that anybody that Joe Biden puts into the secretariat positions, whether it's at defense or anywhere else, will have to face sabotage all across government. I would expect that Trump officials would be sabotaging HHS, DHS, Treasury. I would expect that they are doing everything that they can to make the transition as difficult as possible. And I trust that Joe Biden will pick the right person to come in, and whoever he picks will be able to deal with it. But the problem is, Lawrence, that our adversaries are watching. See, traditionally, our adversaries choose presidential transitions as a time to test our military, test our national security. Remember that the first World Trade Center attacks happened in February, right after President Clinton took office. Kim Jong-un detonated nuclear weapons and underground testing in September of President Trump's first year in office. President Bush had 9/11 in September in his first year in office. Obama had yet another Kim Jong-un nuclear test that happened in May. Our adversaries wait for the presidential transition. It's an opportunity for them to try to get away with as much as they can when there is a transition. And President Trump is not making us any more safe or secure in the first months and years of the Biden administration. And he's really just putting on his own self-interest above the well-being of our country yet again.
Senator Tammy Duckworth, thank you very much for joining our discussion tonight. And Senator, happy Alive Day.
Thank you.